Hey everybody, and welcome back to another board meeting. Today I'm going to be taking a closer look at 3 of the latest Marvel Champions heroes that have been released, at least in my region. And that is StarLord, Gamora, and Drax. And all 3 of these heroes are part of the Guardians of the Galaxy block of characters they have been releasing. So let's take a closer look at each of these 3 characters and then come back up and have a little bit more of a discussion about them. StarLord takes the risk-reward system that Scarlet Witch was all about and ramps it up to an 11. A lot of his deck centers around gaining huge benefits, but having to take a face-down encounter card, so you really have to be sure you can take 2 or maybe even 3 encounter cards before doing these actions. He can have these absolutely monstrous turns, but if you aren't prepared when it comes to the villain's turn to attack you, you can be in big trouble and end up losing very quickly. His special ability of being able to pay 3 less resources for a card, but have to take an encounter card, plays exactly into the style of his deck. StarLord is the trickiest of these 3 heroes I'm talking about today to play and to play well. I may even say he's the trickiest hero released to this date so far. You will have to get a feel of when you can afford to play a bit risky and when you cannot, or you will not do well with StarLord. But when things work out, he can just be an absolute wrecking ball of a character. Next, let's take a look at Gamora. Gamora is a very well-balanced character, one that I would say is similar to Ant-Man in that aspect. She can just do it all. She is a very event-orientated deck where she can actually put some attack thwart events from other aspects into her deck besides her main aspect. When she plays an attack event, it removes a threat. When she plays a thwart event, it deals 1 damage, and those are once per phase. A lot of her cards actually come back to her hands as well if you play them in a certain order, or do more damage, or remove more threat. Her deck comes with the Godslayer card, which gives you +2 attack against unique enemies, which is just an awesome card. She just seems to be a very powerful hero with how versatile she is. She is a bit squishy though, with only 10 hit points, so she will have to switch to her alter ego a couple times probably in a game. But yes, overall, she might be the most balanced of all the heroes in this game when it comes to thwarting and attacking, which makes her a pretty good option for solo play as well as multiplayer. Finally, let's move on to Drax. Drax is a very aggressive deck, all about attacking and being attacked. When he is attacked, he gets a counter on him, and those counters add a +1 to his basic attacks. And he can get 3 of those counters on him, and anytime after that he draws a card instead of getting a counter, which helps his bad hand size of 4 when in hero form. He has a ton of cards in his deck that counter those attacks and prevents damage. And his signature ally in his deck, Mantis, is actually one of my favorite allies, as she heals 3 damage from Drax while she takes 1 damage for it. So she can essentially heal him 9 health before she dies, which is awesome, and it will keep him in his hero form longer. Drax only has a couple cards that deal with thwart, so he's a bit one-dimensional and can be kind of a pain to play with in true solo mode, so you may want to add a couple cards into his deck to help with that, or just play him in multiplayer to become just the aggressive fighter he was meant to be. Let's go back up top and talk a little bit more about these characters. First of all, I really want to say I like all 3 of these characters. I think they're all 3 really well put together, and I think Fantasy Flight Games has done an amazing job with this game in general of keep coming out with characters that just feel unique and different from each other, which is a pretty hard thing to do with a card game, and they have accomplished that. And with these 3 characters, it's no different. All 3 of them feel very unique from each other, from all the other characters that have been released. So let's talk about which character do I think is the most powerful. To me, I think I'm going to put Gamora as the most powerful because she's just so versatile. She can deal with whatever comes her way. She's going to be good as a solo character or as a multiplayer character. The next powerful, I would probably say StarLord, because he can have some of the biggest turns in this entire game out of any characters. So he can do some massive stuff, but you're going to have to balance him pretty well. And lastly, I say Drax. Drax is because he doesn't deal with thwart very well, because he doesn't have a ton of cards that deal with him. He's just aggressive. He's going to be playing aggressive, which I like. So let's talk about which ones are my favorite then. And I know I said Drax was the least powerful, but he is my favorite out of these 3 so far. I really like aggressive characters, like I said. And that is what he is. He wants to attack, and he wants to be attacked a lot of times, and he's got so many cards that deal with that and amp those things up. My next favorite would be Gamora, because she's just a beast in general, so she can deal with whatever. So she's still very fun. She's pretty awesome, I'd say. And lastly, it's StarLord. I know he's my least favorite out of these three, but I still like him. But for him, I'm going to have to be in a certain mood to want to play with him. I'm going to have to want to play chaotically. And that's okay, because sometimes I want to play. But like I said, I'm going to have to be in that mood for StarLord, just kind of like Scarlet Witch. But let me know below, what characters out of these three did you like the best? Which ones did you like the least? What did you like about them? But that will adjourn this meeting. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me at the board meeting in the future. I hope you all have an amazing day, and take care, everyone.